Hello and welcome. I'm Susan Oxley, your host today for this episode of Climate Brewing, the series that focuses on the cause and effects of our climate change and the kind of solutions that we can investigate to help mitigate the climate emergency that we face. I have with me today a good friend, Bill McClain. He's an instructor at the University of Washington, teaching classes in finance, marketing, and economics. He's also has been serving as a member of Clean and Prosperous Washington and is co-founder of Clean and Prosperous America. Bill, it's wonderful to have you with me. Welcome.
Thanks, Susan. This is fun.
So I understand that you co-founded the Clean and Prosperous America.
I did.
With the late David Giuliani in 2019, and that you also joined the Clean and Prosperous Washington team that's now led by Michael Mann in 2021. So tell me about the work that you've been doing with those environmental organizations.
Well, I'll start with Clean and Prosperous Washington. Clean and Prosperous, which really probably should be renamed Clean is Prosperous, because that's sort of the DNA, the perspective of the organization is that a clean economy is a prosperous economy. But in any event, Clean and Prosperous is a small nonprofit here in the state of Washington, working to accelerate the transition to a clean economy. Now, I'm no longer with the organization, but I was part of the communications team for several years, actually until just a few months ago. Now, Clean and Prosperous was started, as you mentioned, by David Giuliani. Do you have a Sonicare toothbrush?
I do.
Well, most people do. And that is, he was the guy behind that business, and we worked together at Sonicare. Sonicare was a Seattle startup. It grew fast and big and ultimately sold off to Philips, and Philips is continuing to make the Sonicare toothbrush. But in any event, after all of that, and a subsequent business, he saw an opportunity to apply an entrepreneurial mindset, a business-minded, strategic approach to climate action at the state level. And, these days, it really is up to the states to take the lead. So that's where all the action is happening. And the state of Washington is very much leading the way amongst all of the 50 states. So David put together a small team that included experts in scientific research, business outreach, political lobbying, communications. Small team, but small but powerful, I think. In any event, my role was primarily in communications, writing the newsletter and such. We put on events. We led study missions to places like California and Quebec, Eastern Washington, more recently to Belgium and Iceland. So it's a very active organization. And I would encourage your listeners to visit cleanandprosperous.org. The primary goal of Clean and Prosperous when I joined was to advocate for passage of the Climate Commitment Act in the state of Washington. And that was really driving David and the team. In the state, there had been several attempts to introduce either a cap and trade system or a carbon tax. It had been attempted through the legislature. It had been attempted through the initiative process. And over many years, it had never succeeded. So this was, it was an uphill battle, but the Climate Commitment Act is a cap and invest system modeled after a very successful system implemented in California about 10 years prior. And David's brilliance, I think, was to take a very big tent approach. I mean, it sounds common sense, right? You need to pull together a big tent of supporters. We were able to pull together a coalition of labor leaders, business leaders, tribal leaders, environmental leaders, um, even oil companies. I mean, it was truly a big tent where everybody could recognize what's in it for them. And the way that the Climate Commitment Act was fashioned, it was done in a very thoughtful way that really truly does work to level the playing field for those businesses that are emitting carbon pollution, but it also provides them with a really nice opportunity to profitably clean up their operations, and it returns value to the residents of the state of Washington in terms of a lot of very climate-friendly projects and programs. That it's a market-based system that puts a price on carbon emissions. Um, Bottom line, it's no longer free to pollute in Washington state. So we were able to succeed in getting the Climate Commitment Act passed. Um, and then, drum roll, the opponents of the Climate Commitment Act decided to put a repeal onto the ballot. So
I remember when that happened.
our work was not done. So actually, the heavy lifting that really just the heavy lifting had just begun. We spent most of 2024 educating people about the Climate Commitment Act. I mean, it wasn't enough that it had passed through the legislature and been signed by the governor and had been implemented by the Department of Commerce and the Department of Ecology in a very effective way. And it wasn't enough that it was raising billions of dollars for excellent projects across the state. We needed to make sure that we won at the ballot box against this repeal initiative. So the tack that we took was to educate people about the projects and programs that they would stand to lose if this initiative passed. And the beauty of a cap and invest system is that it not only puts a declining cap on emissions, but it puts a market price through allowance auctions on carbon pollution. And in doing so, it raises revenues that can then be used by the state to fund climate-friendly projects, programs like electric school buses, electric ferries, EV chargers, electric heat pumps, wildfire mitigation, salmon culverts, bike lanes, you name it. Every single county in the state had projects and programs that were meaningful to the local residents. When we were able to bring visibility to those projects and programs, people were like, "Oh, I don't want to lose that. The polluters are paying for it. I'm benefiting from it. This is working for everybody." So we did prevail at the ballot box. We won in a landslide. The majority of counties across the state, red and blue, voted in favor of the Climate Commitment Act. I think it was almost a 2/3 to 1/3 landslide at the ballot box. So that was very validating, and that led to two things. Number one, the Climate Commitment Act is in a stronger position today in the state of Washington than it was before that initiative was put on the ballot, because now people know about it and they know what it's doing, and they've expressed their support of it. And that leads to the second impact, which is that the voter validation in the state of Washington gives courage to politicians in other states to advance climate policy there, whether it's a cap and invest system similar to what we have, or whether it's some other programs. But New York, Maryland, Minnesota, other California just re-upped their their cap and invest system. So now it's we're in a better position to be able to export this policy to other states. And again, it's at the state level that climate action is going to be. That's where the leadership's going to be.
Excellent. All right. So is that what Clean and Prosperous America is doing? Is that just a repeat of Clean and Prosperous Washington?
No, Clean and Prosperous America um, recognizes that for climate, any kind of climate policy to be possible, the political environment in a state legislature or the federal government needs to be climate friendly. We need to have climate champions in office in order to pursue climate policy. So, Clean and Prosperous America seeks to advance climate policy by electing climate champions. So, we're very focused on the ballot box at the state and federal level, and even in public utility commissions. For example, in Georgia, just recently, a couple of climate champions were elected to the Georgia Public Utility Commission, and similarly, Arizona. It's not the legislature so much as the Public Utility Commission. So we focus on those races as well.
So, in doing that, you've put together a data bank of local environmental groups, right? Tell me about that and how it can be a resource for people like me.
Well, it is. It's a free resource for people like you. We, as an organization, have evolved over the course of the 2020, 2022, and 2024 election cycles. So, right from the start, Clean and Prosperous America recognized that although all the money in politics is going to TV ads and digital marketing, the real power politically is at the grassroots level with community organizations. I heard the other day that $16 billion was spent on the 2024 election, and most of that went into TV and digital. But, we believe that people are moved by peer-to-peer conversations, right, with friends and trusted neighbors. I mean, let me ask you, when's the last time you changed your mind or changed your vote based on a TV ad?
No,
Of course
I
not.
don't remember when I've done that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's conversations with friends, neighbors, family, trusted local influencers, community members. That's what makes you stop and think and maybe change your mind. Um,
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but in the chaos of elections, right? The closer you get to election day, the more fast and furious are the text messages and emails asking for money, and the money is always going to a candidate, a campaign, or a big national organization that may be a very good and very effective organization. And I'm not saying that people should not donate to candidates and campaigns, but after the election is over, the campaign is over. They say advertising's the price of failure because, you're paying for media, you're paying to try to get your message out because you can't earn it. And all, whether it's Sonicare or anything else, every sale is one-to-one, really. It's not because somebody saw a TV ad that they're going to run out and spend their money. That may grease the way. It raises awareness. It has a purpose, but ultimately it's at the shelf. It's one-on-one. That's where the action happens. And the impact of that donation, maybe it helped, maybe it didn't, but either way, it's gone. Whereas community organizations, deeply rooted community organizations doing work year round, able to connect peer to peer, connect with, they're culturally competent. They know their communities. They can be so much more effective and they can build lasting power and have a sustaining impact beyond the deadline of a particular election. So we really believed that the best use of our money and of the money that we were able to collect from other donors would be to support community organizations, local grassroots organizations. But how do you find them? So in 2020, 2022, we put out a request for proposal in battleground states primarily, and we collected hundreds of them, right? So we had a committee of people um, vetting reviewing those proposals and scoring them and so forth. And fast forward, we ended up with a database of grassroots organizations that many people had never even heard of many of these organizations, right? Some of these organizations are larger, they're, statewide, some of them are national, but so many of them are uh, teeny tiny youth-led, volunteer-powered, under-the-radar organizations doing super good work. They don't have a development officer on their payroll, so they're not out fundraising 24/7, but they're underfunded and can do really good work. So we have this database. We've been using it. We call it the Kappa Connector. You can see it on our website at Clean and Prosperous America, and it's free for anybody to use. We were making it available to deep pocket donors in the last election, and they found it to be super useful because they could direct their dollars more deeply, more strategically to the communities and to the organizations that are truly doing great work, registering voters, getting out the vote, educating people, and doing good work in the communities, right? So now we're recognizing that if it's a database that works well for the big donors, we should we should promote it to people like you and me who are just looking to make a small donation here or there, but aren't really sure where to send it. So, um, the beauty of it is that it gives you control over your donations. I mean, I don't know about you, but every single day, I get text messages, my email inbox is just flooded with donation requests. I
Oh, yes.
I mean, it's crazy. And they're probably all worthy. But, I don't like to be reactive in my giving. I don't want to just say, "Oh, well, that was a cute little video or a nicely worded message. I never heard of that candidate. I never heard of this organization, but hey, it seems good to me." I would rather think about, okay, where do I want my money going? Do I want it going to Florida? Do I want it going to Arizona? Do I want it close to home? What kind of organization do I want to support? What kind of work do I want to see that? Do I want my dollars going to? Is it
Mhm.
registering voters? Is it registering college students? Is it registering seniors? Is it targeting Native Americans in Montana? I mean, whatever it may be, I may have a particular desire or a particular giving strategy. And with the Kappa connector, I can enter in my criteria. There are drop down boxes. I can enter in my criteria. I can filter that database of over 600 organizations down to just the ones that are operating in Montana, for example, or just the ones that are door knocking. Whatever it may be, I can filter it down. I can review the information that is on the website about that organization. I can do deeper research by clicking through to the website of the organization, whatever, and then I can make my donation. So it's a way for people to take control of their donation strategy.
Are these organizations that you vetted all simply involved with politics and voting rights? Or do
No,
you also vet those that are involved with like climate justice or human rights issues, women's issues? What's the scope of your research?
these organizations, that's the beauty of the grassroots organizations, is that they are generally not purely political. I mean, some of them are very focused on voting, voter registration, et cetera. But because they are community organizations, um, their DNA is service of some sort. Some of them are faith-based organizations, some of them are service-based, hunger, poverty, um, women's rights, climate justice. They may be working from various different angles, but their deeper purpose is about making change, making an impact in their community. And so they get involved um, politically because that's one way of activating their community towards their purpose. But it may not be, and in many cases is not their primary purpose.
I see. So I could go in, put in my what state, zip code, whatever,
Mhm.
and come up with a list of service organizations that I might want to support in not only financially, but in joining.
Yes, absolutely. And that's a great way to make a difference is joining an organization.
You've got me excited about checking out the CAP Connector. So thank you so very much.
Well, thank you, Susan. This has been a lot of fun. I could talk with you all day.
I think we could indeed.